Identify whether the expenses fall under the definition of entertainment to begin with. Now, what is the meaning of entertainment first? The entertainment under section 18, okay, talks about food, drink, recreation or hospitality, or accommodation and travel by a person or an employee of his in connection with the trade, or business carrying of that person. All right. So number one, we talks about whether, expenses in connection to a promotion of business, whether it's entertainment under section 18. If the answer is a yes, then we talk about, is it really for business? If the answer we talk about is a no, what is section 33(1)? We thought 33(1) talks about whether the expenses are wholly 100% and exclusively incurred during that year in the productions of the income. All right. So this part, entertainment, I know it's a recreation. I know it's a makan already. This one I know already. So whether it is relating to business or whether wholly relating to business or whether it is not. So that is the second flow chart. If it's not related to business, okay, guys, the expenses is not deductible. Okay. If it is yes, it's actually how do you call it? It's an entertainment, but yeah, over here is also a no, then it will actually go down further. Okay. Now, then the flow charts continue, ladies and gentlemen. After it is done this way, then we talk about the next thing now. The first thing is, if it is relating to business, then very good. Yeah, very good. Then if it is not an entertainment, but it is 100% relating to business, then very good. You actually get 100% deduction. Okay. But if it is an entertainment, and it is relating to the business, all right, then we talked about this part, whether it's actually part of this proviso. I will not go into detail of it. I won't deep dive into it because it may be too technical for everyone. But under here, there are a few scenarios that we are talking about. If it's relating to the business and it's fall under this few proviso, okay. If it's not, then you are still getting your 50%. If it is yes, it is still fall under it is still within the proviso, then it is 100%. Now, what is this proviso about? Ladies and gentlemen, keep in touch with Syarikat. We give you further information. It's not easy for me to actually explain to you over a short 1.5 hours. Okay. So as a result, ladies and gentlemen, for an inland revenue to go through a documentations, right? It actually have to go through like this. Okay. So how on earth do you think when they look at this document here, and they will be easily satisfied? And then how can we as a taxpayer, we say, hey, hello boss, you know lah, yeah, you had to give me deduction. This one my director very bad, but I spent a lot of time, we have to go and eat, only we will be able to do our business. Hey, sometimes we forgot that tax actually have a rules. It's just like any games, like it has a rule, step by step to come to what is a deductions of an expenses, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Yeah. So entertainment looks simple, but it's actually having a process to follow. Now, another very common claims that we normally see is a bit that the employee or the directors will actually claim, I would say, is actually traveling expenses, right? Traveling and accommodation expenses. Yeah. Okay. Now, when we actually have that, how does your accountant key in this particular GL, ladies and gentlemen? How does your accountant carry the GL? Okay. So what the inner revenue will need to actually want you to actually do is, number one, first thing first, you split your local traveling from your overseas traveling first. That is the first thing that you should do lah. If you ask my personal opinion, first thing that you should do, you should actually split this out. And then, okay, and then after that, when you are doing your GL keying, yeah, the information, if you can, it should contain name of the person, date of duration of the thing, the destination, maybe the supplier. If you find it very difficult to put the GL, you put it in your source document. Purpose of visiting, okay, and state of the matters being discussed. Now, number 5, number 6, I know it's so difficult. Hey, Agnes, how am I going to go to my go to my director and say, hey, boss, why you go to Korea? Right? Boss say, hey, hello, why are you asking me this question? Right? So we normally will have this issue. A lot of time is, I don't even know that my boss go to Korea. Yeah, he or she just give me one stack of claims 2 months later, right? And then ask me to put in the bill and say, this is a business traveling that I want to claim the company, right? So I don't have time to go and extract any information, what is the matter regarding, or collate any document to support my traveling overseas, for example, yeah? So traveling overseas, a lot of the time is, you may not know when your boss go traveling, or when your boss go traveling because it's too much in a rush, right? So it was actually just done, go off, they go, and a lot of things you don't have enough information. But ladies and gentlemen, the Inland Revenue may not be passionate enough to sit down and, should I say, to be passionate and to be understanding of your limitations, right? So they will still always, for any audit, GL is important. This is a contoh of a GL description. That was actually belonging to one of our clients. That was actually being picked out from the Inland Revenue Board as well. So in this one, it doesn't look to be. Tim, can you help to mute? Ladies and gentlemen, please mute yourself. Yeah, please mute yourself. Right, so that we can actually have a clear how to call hearing, yeah, during this e-meet that we have over a Zoom session today. So basically, this is a simple example of one of my clients who is being audited, and this simple item was being picked up. You'll be surprised, Inland Revenue may not necessarily go for $1 million expenses, right? They look for small expenses. A lot of time, taxpayer will actually say, never mind lah, Agnes, let them add back. But no, ladies and gentlemen, don't underestimate a tax audit. Don't underestimate. Okay, so when you do a tax audit, when you agree to a tax treatment, I don't know whether it will be consistently applied subsequently. You do not want that one day you go for a 50,000 traveling due to certain things, due to limitation or weaknesses in the documents, and you are not able to claim, and it's genuinely for business. You don't want to see that situation. All right, so don't underestimate a tax audit review just simply because the tax implication is little. So looking at this particular one, ladies and gentlemen, you realize that, okay, well, Agnes, this have a lot of information. You have the air ticket to Korea, expenses claim, right? These are the amount, etc., etc. We are also was wondering, why does Inland Revenue pick this one out? So because they are in the midst of audit, so it is within their findings, it's within their findings of the extractions of items that they wanted to do and adding back. So like I said, when we do a tax compliance work, right, on an annual basis, right, many of the times we don't actually have the opportunity to, or rather it is not within our means to go through the source document, of a taxpayer as if it is a tax audit. We don't actually have that luxury of doing so. Neither is the fee that is able to justify that kind of work and time spent as well, to be honest. Okay, so as a result, a lot of representation was actually being relied upon. That was made, the representation made by the client as being relied upon when a tax computation is being carried out. So tax compliance submission is being carried out. So when the tax audit was being carried out, is different. They will verify over source document. Then we realize, these dates that was actually being written, it has nothing to do with the actual source document. The actual source document is actually different from the GL date, as the accountants has keyed in the GL date based on claim date. Do your accountant have this habit or not? I received the claim on the month of March, then I key in the month of March, but it probably will be expenses that is incurred in January, February, or even the year before, right? Because I receive it now, so I key in now, so it's expenses now because I'm paying now, right? A very, what I call a cash accounting approach of mindset. Okay, so for small SME, to be honest, many of us, we are not able to afford different level, different class of accountants, right? So hence, we got to settle with issue like this. Okay, so when we go into the source document, because the Inland Revenue picked out, So you go into the source document and then looking at this and then going through this and then check back the calendar in the year 2019, only we realize some of this traveling was actually done during the holiday period, right? Including this one, 31st December, right? That was actually expenses claim in April, right? Don't know why they put it here. I would say maybe it's they not enough expenses. So looking for expenses going to CP204, tak cukup now. Wow, I don't want to have my 30%. It's time for me to find out any big piece of things that is supposed to be 2019. I'm going to accrue. Okay, accruing concept only come in on a cut-off date. Then everything only just come in then. So when we go through this item, we realize that, wow, some is during the Raya long break, some is during whatever break, is during the holiday season that the traveling was actually being carried out. So the inner revenue questions on this item that we have previously claimed as deductions for traveling expenses. Now, when we do a compliance work claims, what would we do? We will always say, hey, please give us the how do you call the purpose of traveling, right? Just now we mentioned, yeah, the date of traveling, the duration and stuff. So whatever that is given sounds okay, right? But the moment they go into source document, where we find it different, then the issue has come out, like, yeah. Okay. Now the next is just now we talk about overseas traveling. Let's talk about what if we are talking about local traveling. So local traveling, easy to say and done, okay, I know, I'm also in running business, so I know. Mileage claim, Grab claim, flight accommodation, right? This probably will be slightly easier, whereby, yes, ladies and gentlemen, you need to have proof of travel, you need to write down, you know, maybe a travel log or whatever. Yeah, the visiting part, you know, who you visit, what's the purpose of visitation, etc., etc. Wow, sounds so simple, isn't it? Ladies and gentlemen, sounds so simple, yeah? Okay, but the practical challenge we all know. For an SMEs, in the event of petrol toll parking, let's just look into the smallest things possible in our lives. Okay, is the document used to claim is as per whatever this payment, or is it a per trip claim approach? It's very difficult to do a per trip claim approach. We can do a per trip claim to our staff, but bosses, we are the worst in complying in any of the accounting treatment that a company set as a policy, correct or no? We are the culprit all the time, okay? Wow, you ask the boss to actually write down per trip claim per day. Wow, the boss will tell you, you apply on them and accountant, you do it for me, right? So we are always in that situation. So the evaluations of the deductibility under 331 honestly is a question of fact. There are bound to be weaknesses here and there. And to make it even more challenging, right? The touch and go, petrol toll parking, how many of us still pay cash, ladies and gentlemen? Very little, right? So we're going through touch and go stage. Touch and go means what? Yes, you can print out the detailed record. There are statements for you, which remember to go through that record all the time. Everybody remember to print them out. Okay, as if you can understand them sometime, right? Even you understand them, you don't know what is the purpose anymore, yeah, because your boss passes it to you every 6 months, all right? And to make it even more complicated, touch and go now is also used for all kinds of purchase. Why? Because touch and go is also used as a top-up for e-wallet, right? So this practical challenge that we are having, the documentation for petrol toll parking, is actually getting interesting, right? What will be inner revenue treatment on all these top up and how we actually do our local traveling documentations? We see that they are observing. We have not actually seen any concrete approach yet. Honestly, I have not seen any concrete approach, but I have seen that it is more like observing. Of course, when an item is huge, all right, then you see them wanted to do certain adjustment to it. But however, it is an important thing to actually see what will be the development. So all of us as a taxpayer, right, we must find our way to actually see how do we do our documents. Every company may have different approach of looking into this subject matter, right? It may not be easy for us to give you a one-size-fits-all solution. Okay, so we will prefer that maybe all the taxpayers go through your approach of claiming your traveling expenses, whether local or overseas, okay, and go through how the entertainments or staff refreshments are being claimed. All right, and we see and then you have to make your own, should I say, company claim procedures. Okay, and these claim procedures, because most of the SMEs are controlled company, most of our company are controlled company. If we can standardize the same claiming procedures with the employee to be the same as the employer, that would be best, to be honest. It may not change much, but it just gives that evidence of independency and how do you call, there is no there is no different treatment or special treatment. There's no special treatment to the directors. I think it carry weights in the event of an appeal. Why do I say this is, I can tell you, traveling, entertainment, these are items that is bound to come under appeal, because documentation, you do your level best, right? I understand accountants and, you do your level best. Directors, you must help your accountants in collating this, right? If you can, you write on your sales dockets on what are these purpose, and certain part, if it's for personal purposes, just let it be. Yeah, we have clients, yeah, whereby they directly split the entertainment expenses into a few GL code. One, they put it in purpose for adding back, because those are the one, it's so-called, it is like a budget for the director to just spend, and it's actually charged under that particular code. But whatever that the directors are able to classify differently, they actually put it separately. So when Inland Revenue look into this taxpayer, by seeing how you actually do your treatment of these expenses in the book, all right, it actually gives them confidence level when they look into these two categories of things together.